In the vast white expanse of the Arctic, where the world feels both ancient and unforgiving, the landscape is a realm of extremes, where temperatures can plunge below -40 degrees Celsius, and the sun may vanish for months at a time, only to return in a blaze of endless daylight. This is a place sculpted by ice and wind, where the land and sea are locked in a perpetual dance of freezing and thawing, and where life, though sparse, is astonishingly resilient. The Arctic is home to a remarkable array of wildlife, each species uniquely adapted to survive in this harsh environment. From the silent flight of the snowy owl to the stealthy movements of the Arctic fox, every creature here has evolved extraordinary strategies to endure the cold, find food, and evade predators. The caribou, for instance, undertake epic migrations spanning hundreds of kilometers, while the musk oxen form tight-knit groups to shield themselves from biting winds. Beneath the ice, the Arctic Ocean teems with life. Narwhals, often called the unicorns of the sea, navigate the labyrinth of shifting flows, while beluga whales communicate with a symphony of clicks and whistles. Seals haul out on the ice to rest and give birth, ever watchful for the silent approach of the polar bear, the Arctic's apex predator, whose survival depends on the delicate balance of this ecosystem. Even the land itself is alive with subtle activity. In the brief Arctic summer, the tundra bursts into color as hardy plants like mosses, lichens, and Arctic poppies take advantage of the midnight sun. These plants form the foundation of the food web supporting insects, birds, and the larger herbivores that roam the region. The permafrost, a layer of permanently frozen ground, holds secrets of ancient climates and shapes the very contours of the landscape. The Arctic is also a vital crossroads for migratory birds, such as the Arctic tern, which travels from pole to pole in the longest migration of any animal on Earth. Lemmings, small rodents that burrow beneath the snow, provide a crucial food source for predators like the stoat and the Arctic wolf. Every species, from the tiniest insect to the largest mammal, plays a role in the intricate web of life that sustains this region. The Arctic is a place of constant change and profound mystery. Glaciers, some thousands of years old, slowly grind their way to the sea, carving icebergs that drift with the currents. The breakup of river ice in spring is a dramatic event, reshaping the landscape and signaling the return of life after the long winter. Scientists study ancient ice cores to unlock the secrets of Earth's climate history, while satellites track the ever-shifting patterns of sea ice from above. The Arctic is also a land of breathtaking natural phenomena. The aurora borealis, or northern lights, paint the sky with vibrant colors during the long polar night, while the midnight sun bathes the landscape in perpetual daylight during summer. Frost flowers bloom on new sea ice, and rare optical effects like sundogs and halos appear in the frigid air, adding to the region's otherworldly beauty. The Arctic's climate is both a challenge and a marvel. Blizzards can reduce visibility to nothing, while ice fogs drift silently across the sea. Snow crystals form intricate patterns, and the wind sculpts the landscape into ever-changing shapes. The interplay of light and ice creates a world that is both stark and mesmerizing, a testament to the power and beauty of nature at its most extreme. Yet the Arctic is also a region under threat. Climate change is rapidly altering the landscape, with sea ice melting at unprecedented rates and glaciers retreating year by year. These changes have profound effects on the entire ecosystem, from the smallest plankton to the largest predators, and ripple outward to influence global weather patterns and sea levels. The Arctic Ocean is a dynamic system, driven by powerful currents and the seasonal advance and retreat of the ice. Beneath the surface, microscopic algae and phytoplankton bloom in the brief summer, forming the base of a food chain that supports everything from tiny krill to massive whales. The health of these waters is crucial not only for Arctic life, but for the entire planet. The Arctic remains one of the last great wildernesses on Earth, a place where the forces of nature reign supreme and where the story of life is written in snow, ice, and stone. Its mysteries continue to captivate scientists and explorers alike, offering glimpses into the planet's past and warnings for its future. In this exploration, we will journey deep into the heart of the Arctic, uncovering the secrets of its landscapes, the marvels of its wildlife, and the delicate balance that sustains life at the top of the world. The Arctic Hunt, in its purest form, is a story of survival, adaptation, and the intricate connections that bind all living things to this extraordinary environment. As we begin this journey, we invite you to witness the wonders of the Arctic, its challenges, its beauty, and its enduring mysteries, through the lens of the hunt that has shaped its natural world for millennia. The story of the Arctic Hunt is not a simple one. It is a complex and often contradictory tale about the enduring relationship between life and the natural world in one of Earth's most extreme environments. In the heart of the Arctic, the ocean is a realm of silence and subtle movement, where the giants of the deep navigate a world shaped by ice, tides, and the changing seasons. The whale, largest of all Arctic marine mammals, moves with deliberate grace. It follows ancient migratory routes, guided by the shifting patterns of sea ice and the availability of food beneath the frozen surface. Feeding is a patient process. The whale glides through nutrient-rich waters, mouth agape, filtering vast quantities of plankton and small fish through its baleen. Each movement is calculated, conserving energy in the frigid environment. The walrus, with its immense bulk and iconic tusks, hauls out onto ice floes to rest and socialize. Their thick skin and blubber insulate them from the cold, while their tusks are used to pull themselves onto the ice and to break breathing holes. Foraging is a methodical process. Walruses dive to the sea floor, using their sensitive whiskers to detect shellfish buried in the mud. With powerful flippers, they dig and extract their prey, consuming hundreds of clams in a single dive. Seals are masters of the ice. They maintain breathing holes in the frozen surface, surfacing for air in quick, cautious bursts. Their bodies are streamlined for swift movement, allowing them to evade predators and navigate the labyrinth of ice. Underwater, seals move with astonishing agility. They twist and turn through narrow channels, using keen senses to locate prey and avoid threats. Their survival depends on constant vigilance and the ability to disappear into the Arctic gloom. In warmer southern waters, the dugong glides over seagrass meadows. It feeds by uprooting plants with its bristled snout, moving slowly and methodically across the sea floor, surfacing only briefly for air. Dugongs are gentle and social, often seen in pairs or small groups. Their lives are shaped by the tides and the health of the seagrass beds, making them sensitive indicators of their environment's well-being. The Arctic environment is in constant flux. Storms can scatter ice floes, open new leads in the pack, or close off vital breathing holes. The animals must adapt quickly, their survival dependent on reading the subtle signs of change. Each species has evolved unique strategies to thrive in this challenging world. Whether gliding beneath the ice, foraging on the seafloor, or resting on drifting floes, the giants of the Arctic and beyond are in a perpetual dance with their environment, guided by instinct, shaped by the elements, and bound to the rhythms of the sea. The evolution of Arctic hunting technology is a testament to human ingenuity and adaptation in one of the planet's harshest environments. Over millennia, the development of specialized tools and methods has enabled survival and resourcefulness in the face of extreme cold, shifting ice, and elusive prey. Early Arctic hunting tools were crafted from locally sourced materials: bone, ivory, antler, and stone. The harpoon, a central instrument, featured a detachable toggling head designed to secure marine mammals beneath the ice. Lines were meticulously braided from seal or walrus hide, chosen for their strength and flexibility in freezing temperatures. Watercraft such as the kayak were engineered for stealth and efficiency. Frames built from driftwood or whalebone were covered in waterproofed seal skin, creating vessels that glided silently across open water and through narrow leads in the pack ice. The design minimized drag and maximized maneuverability, essential for approaching wary prey. On land, sleds constructed from wood, bone, and sinew enabled efficient travel across snow and ice. The runners were often coated with a thin layer of ice or moss to reduce friction, a critical adaptation for traversing vast frozen landscapes. These implements were not only functional but also reflected a deep understanding of the Arctic ecosystem. Each tool was tailored to specific prey and environmental conditions, demonstrating a sophisticated knowledge of animal behavior, ice dynamics, and seasonal cycles. The 20th century marked a turning point with the introduction of high-powered rifles. These firearms, equipped with precision optics, extended the effective range of hunters and increased accuracy, fundamentally altering the dynamics of Arctic hunting. Modern rifles reduced the necessity for close-quarters encounters, enhancing safety and efficiency. The shift from muscle-powered projectiles to gunpowder-based technology represented a significant leap in hunting capability. Mechanized transport further revolutionized Arctic hunting. Snowmobiles with their powerful engines and rugged treads replaced traditional sleds in many regions, enabling rapid travel over long distances and difficult terrain. The adoption of motorized boats with outboard engines allowed for extended range and speed on open water, facilitating access to remote hunting grounds and altering traditional patterns of pursuit. Digital technology now plays a pivotal role. GPS devices and satellite communication systems provide precise navigation and tracking, reducing the risks associated with unpredictable weather and shifting ice. Satellite data enables real-time monitoring of animal migrations and ice conditions, allowing for informed decision-making and efficient resource management. The integration of ancient skills and modern technology is a pragmatic adaptation to environmental change. While traditional knowledge remains essential for interpreting subtle cues in the landscape, modern tools offer enhanced safety, efficiency, and precision. Despite technological advances, the fundamental objective persists: to secure vital resources for survival in a challenging environment. The industrialization of hunting, particularly whaling, introduced large-scale factory ships and explosive harpoons in the 18th and 19th centuries. This mechanization led to the rapid depletion of whale populations, demonstrating the environmental impact of unchecked technological expansion. Today, while most commercial whaling is prohibited, some operations persist, utilizing advanced vessels equipped with cranes and processing technology, underscoring the ongoing debate over sustainable resource use. In contrast, subsistence hunting continues to rely on a blend of time-tested skills and selective adoption of modern tools, maintaining a balance between tradition and innovation. Ultimately, the evolution of Arctic hunting technology is a story of adaptation, where the scale, intent, and environmental consequences of each tool and method are as significant as their technical sophistication. In the Arctic, the survival of life depends on the efficient use and recycling of every available resource. When an animal perishes, its body becomes a vital source of nutrients for the ecosystem. Scavengers such as Arctic foxes, gulls, and ravens quickly consume the flesh, ensuring that protein and fat are not wasted. Microorganisms, including bacteria and fungi, then take over, breaking down the remaining tissues. This decomposition process releases essential nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and carbon back into the soil and snow. In the Arctic, the cold slows decomposition, allowing nutrients to be stored in the permafrost. Over time, these nutrients are gradually released, supporting plant growth during the brief summer. Mosses, lichens, and grasses absorb these nutrients, forming the base of the Arctic food web. Herbivores such as reindeer and muskoxen feed on this vegetation, converting plant matter into muscle, fat, and bone. Fat and blubber serve as dense energy reserves, crucial for insulation and survival in extreme cold. These tissues are also a primary energy source for predators and scavengers. The skin and fur provide insulation, protecting animals from sub-zero temperatures. When shed or left behind, these materials decompose, returning organic matter to the environment. Bones, rich in minerals like calcium and phosphorus, are gradually weathered by the elements. Small mammals and birds gnaw on them for nutrients, while the remaining fragments enrich the soil. Sinew, the fibrous tissue connecting muscle to bone, is tough and slow to decompose. It provides material for nest building and is eventually broken down by environmental processes. Ivory tusks and teeth, composed of dense dentin and enamel, persist in the environment for years. Over time, they are worn down by weather and scavengers, gradually returning minerals to the ecosystem. Whale blubber with skin, rich in vitamin C and other nutrients, is consumed by a variety of Arctic species, supporting their health in a nutrient-scarce environment. Through this intricate web of consumption and decomposition, every part of an animal is eventually reintegrated into the Arctic ecosystem. This process exemplifies the ecological cycles that sustain life in the Arctic, where nothing is wasted and every biological component plays a role in maintaining balance. Disruption of these cycles, such as through industrial waste or removal of key species, can have cascading effects, threatening the delicate equilibrium of the region. Ultimately, the complete utilization and recycling of animal remains is a cornerstone of Arctic ecology, ensuring the survival of countless species in one of the planet's harshest environments. The traditional Arctic hunt, once governed solely by the needs of subsistence and cultural practice, has become increasingly entangled with the powerful forces of the global economy. In a world where cash is now a necessity, even in the most remote communities, for fuel, modern equipment, and imported goods, the animals of the Arctic have acquired a monetary value that can be, well, staggering. A single large whale, for instance, can be a veritable million-dollar giant, not just for its meat, but for rare substances like ambergris, a waxy secretion from a sperm whale's digestive system that is immensely valuable in the luxury perfume industry. This potential for immense profit has transformed hunting in some areas from a local activity into a global enterprise. This commercial aspect creates a complex and often tense dynamic. A single walrus, valued for its meat, hide, and ivory, can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. Similarly, in Greenland, a seal hunt can yield substantial financial returns as its skin is sold for high-end fashion and its meat is a staple in local markets. This economic incentive can drive hunting decisions, pushing communities to balance the immediate need for cash with the long-term sustainability of the animal populations they depend on. The line between hunting for survival and hunting for profit can become, honestly, quite blurred. The lure of money has a dark history in the region, often leading to devastating consequences. The near extinction of the dugong in many parts of its range was driven by its high market value, which incentivized overhunting to a degree that traditional sustainable practices could not withstand. The commercial whaling boom of the 18th and 19th centuries similarly decimated global whale populations, a legacy from which many species are still recovering. This history serves as a cautionary tale, illustrating how market demand, when unchecked, can overwhelm both cultural traditions of respect and the natural resilience of animal populations, pushing them toward collapse. Today, the economic dimension of the hunt is a source of continuous debate. Proponents argue that a regulated, commercially viable hunt allows indigenous communities to participate in the modern economy on their own terms, using their traditional skills to build a sustainable livelihood. It provides a means to preserve a cultural way of life by making it economically practical. However, critics worry that the profit motive will inevitably lead to over-exploitation, prioritizing short-term financial gain over long-term ecological health. This tension places Arctic communities in a difficult position as they navigate the challenge of honoring their traditions while securing their economic future in a rapidly changing world. In the vast expanse of the Arctic, the hunt is not only a matter of survival, but a complex web of relationships, kinship and culture, woven not by humans, but by the animals themselves. Here, every species is both hunter and hunted, participant and witness in a drama shaped by the rhythms of the land and sea. The caribou, for example, move in tightly knit herds, their social structure built on kinship and cooperation. Calves learn to follow their mothers, while dominant males guide the group, and the herd's unity is its greatest defense against predators. The wolves, too, are bound by intricate social ties. Packs are family units, with older wolves teaching the young to hunt, to communicate, and to share the spoils. Their success depends on teamwork, trust, and a deep understanding of each member's role. Among polar bears, mothers pass on essential hunting skills to their cubs, guiding them across the ice and teaching them to read the subtle signs of seal breathing holes. This intergenerational transfer of knowledge is vital for survival in a harsh and ever-changing environment. Walrus herds display remarkable kinship, with adults forming protective barriers around their young. Their social bonds are reinforced through touch, vocalizations, and shared vigilance against threats from predators like polar bears and orcas. In the sea, narwhals and belugas travel in pods, their migrations guided by the wisdom of elders who remember ancient roots beneath the ice. Communication, cooperation, and collective memory are the pillars of their survival. The Arctic fox, ever resourceful, weaves through this tapestry of life, forming opportunistic relationships with larger predators. By following polar bears or wolves, the fox benefits from the leftovers of the hunt, while also playing a role in cleaning the landscape. Seals, meanwhile, teach their pups to swim and to recognize danger, passing on the instincts and skills that have allowed their kind to thrive in the Arctic's icy waters. Muskoxen rely on collective defense, forming tight circles to shield their young from wolves. Their kinship is expressed in their willingness to stand together, each individual's safety bound to the strength of the group. Even in the sky, Arctic terns demonstrate remarkable social organization, migrating in vast flocks and caring for their young with tireless devotion. Their journeys span continents, yet their bonds remain unbroken. Across the Arctic, interspecies relationships shape the hunt. Ravens and wolves cooperate at kills, foxes and bears share the spoils, and each animal's fate is intertwined with the others in a delicate balance of competition and cooperation. The Arctic hunt, then, is a living culture, an ancient, ever-evolving system of kinship, migration, and mutual dependence. It is a testament to the resilience and adaptability of the animals who call this place home. Their stories are written in the snow, in the tracks that crisscross the tundra, in the songs that echo across the ice, and in the silent understanding that survival is a shared endeavor. In the end, the Arctic's true culture is found in these connections between animal and animal, predator and prey, land and sea. It is a world where kinship and the hunt are inseparable, and where every life is part of a greater whole. The Arctic, a realm of stark beauty and extreme conditions, has long been home to a delicate balance of life. Yet the history of this region is marked by periods of intense overhunting, which have left profound and lasting impacts on its animal populations and ecosystems. The introduction of advanced hunting technologies in the 19th and 20th centuries, such as high-powered rifles and mechanized whaling ships, dramatically increased the efficiency and scale of animal harvests. This technological leap allowed for the extraction of vast numbers of animals in a short period, far outpacing the natural reproductive rates of many Arctic species. The commercial demand for furs, pelts, and whale oil fueled a relentless pursuit of Arctic mammals. As market incentives grew, so did the pressure on animal populations, leading to dramatic declines in species such as the bowhead whale, walrus, and Arctic fox. Overhunting disrupted the natural population dynamics of these animals. Species with slow reproductive rates, such as whales and polar bears, were especially vulnerable. As their numbers plummeted, the ecological roles they played, such as regulating prey populations and maintaining the structure of food webs, were diminished, triggering cascading effects throughout the ecosystem. The depletion of keystone species led to shifts in predator-prey relationships. For example, the reduction of large whale populations altered the availability of carrion for scavengers, while the decline of walruses and seals affected the foraging patterns of polar bears and other predators. In some cases, overhunting led to local extinctions, with entire populations vanishing from regions where they had once thrived. The dugong, for instance, disappeared from many of its historical Arctic habitats due to unsustainable harvests. The loss of these animals not only reduced biodiversity, but also weakened the resilience of Arctic ecosystems, making them more susceptible to further environmental changes. As populations dwindled, the absence of once abundant species altered the physical landscape. For example, the reduction of grazing animals changed vegetation patterns, while the loss of large marine mammals affected nutrient cycling in the ocean. The environmental consequences of overhunting are still visible today. In some areas, animal populations have never fully recovered, and the scars of past exploitation remain etched into the Arctic landscape. Today, the challenges facing Arctic wildlife are compounded by climate change. Melting ice and shifting habitats further stress already vulnerable populations, making recovery even more difficult. As animals are forced into smaller, fragmented habitats, the risk of localized depletion increases. The concentration of species in limited areas can lead to overexploitation, even at lower levels of harvest. The specter of overhunting continues to haunt the Arctic, serving as a powerful reminder of the need for careful stewardship. Only through understanding the complex dynamics of animal populations and the far-reaching consequences of overexploitation can the fragile balance of this unique ecosystem be preserved for the future. The debate over Arctic hunting is a complex and multifaceted issue centered on the welfare of animals, the conservation of species, and the management of fragile ecosystems. On one side, animal welfare advocates argue that hunting practices in the Arctic subject sentient, intelligent creatures, such as whales and seals, to unnecessary suffering. They emphasize that these animals possess complex social structures and cognitive abilities, and that their well-being should be protected from harm. Conservationists highlight the historical and ongoing threats to Arctic species, pointing to documented declines in certain populations. They warn that hunting, especially when driven by commercial interests, can push vulnerable species closer to extinction and disrupt the delicate balance of Arctic ecosystems. Critics of hunting also question the ethics of exploiting wild animal populations for profit, especially when alternative sources of food and materials are available. They argue that the global community has a responsibility to prioritize biodiversity and animal welfare over economic gain. On the other hand, some conservation scientists and ecosystem managers point out that, when carefully regulated, hunting can play a role in maintaining ecological balance. In certain cases, controlled harvests may help prevent overpopulation, which can lead to resource depletion and negative impacts on other species within the food web. Proponents of sustainable management argue that well-monitored hunting quotas, based on scientific data, can ensure that animal populations remain healthy and resilient. They stress the importance of adaptive management strategies that respond to changing environmental conditions and population trends. The debate also extends to the broader question of human intervention in natural systems. Some argue that any form of hunting disrupts natural processes and should be minimized, while others contend that responsible stewardship sometimes requires active management, including selective harvests, to maintain ecosystem health. International agreements and conservation frameworks seek to balance these competing priorities, aiming to protect endangered species while allowing for the sustainable use of abundant populations. The effectiveness of these measures depends on rigorous scientific monitoring, transparent enforcement, and ongoing dialogue among stakeholders. Ultimately, the ongoing debate over Arctic hunting reflects broader questions about humanity's relationship with the natural world, how to balance respect for animal life, the need for conservation, and the challenges of managing complex ecosystems in a rapidly changing environment. As the Arctic continues to warm and the pressures of the modern world intensify, the question of its future becomes ever more urgent. Here, the landscape itself is a living testament to adaptation and resilience. At the heart of this region lies a profound intersection of ecology and survival, where every species must adapt to the relentless changes brought by a warming climate. The ancient rhythms of migration, hunting, and hibernation are being rewritten. Animals that once relied on predictable seasons now face uncertainty. Ice forms later, melts sooner, and food sources shift in both time and place. In this evolving world, conservation is not just a human endeavor. It is a necessity for the survival of all Arctic life. The landscape itself becomes both steward and teacher, shaping the destinies of its inhabitants. Environmental stewardship in the Arctic is written in the language of adaptation. Caribou alter their migration routes to find new grazing grounds. Polar bears travel farther in search of stable ice. Even the smallest creatures, like lemmings and insects, shift their life cycles to match the changing seasons. These adaptations are not just responses to hardship. They are acts of resilience, a testament to the enduring spirit of Arctic wildlife. Yet the balance is delicate. Too rapid a change, and even the most adaptable species may struggle to survive. The future of the Arctic depends on the ability of its animals to continue adapting, and on the preservation of the habitats that sustain them. Conservation, in this sense, is not about halting change, but about fostering the conditions that allow life to persist and evolve. The prospects for the Arctic are uncertain, but not without hope. If the natural cycles of adaptation are respected and protected, the region's unique biodiversity can endure. Ultimately, the coexistence of tradition and conservation in the Arctic is embodied by the animals themselves, each one a living bridge between the past and the future, between survival and stewardship. Their continued presence is a reminder that the Arctic story is still being written, one of adaptation, resilience, and the enduring power of nature to find balance even in the face of profound change. Gap 2S. Across the vast frozen expanse of the Arctic, some of nature's most astonishing journeys unfold each year. From the silent tundra to the shifting sea ice, millions of animals embark on epic migrations, ancient routes etched into memory. Guided by instincts science is only beginning to understand. Caribou form immense flowing herds, traveling up to 3,000 miles in a single season. Their hooves drum the permafrost as they traverse mountains, rivers, and valleys, chasing the promise of fresh grazing lands and the safety of calving grounds. Along the coasts, the bowhead whale undertakes a silent voyage beneath the ice, navigating by sound through waters darkened by winter. Their journeys, spanning thousands of miles, are synchronized with the retreat and advance of sea ice, an intricate dance with the elements. Even the Arctic tern, a bird no larger than a human hand, completes the longest migration on Earth, flying from the Arctic to the Antarctic and back each year, a round trip of nearly 44,000 miles. Scientists puzzle over how these birds navigate across vast oceans, guided by the stars, the sun, and perhaps a magnetic sense we can scarcely fathom. The science of migration is still unfolding, revealing clues hidden in satellite data, animal tagging, and the subtle shifts of the seasons. Yet for all we have learned, much remains a mystery. What triggers the precise moment to depart or return? How do creatures navigate blizzards, storms, and the ever-changing landscape? Each journey is a testament to endurance and adaptation, a story written on the wind and ice. Through migration, Arctic animals stitch together the tapestry of their ecosystem, carrying nutrients, seeds, and life itself across unimaginable distances. In the endless twilight of the Arctic summer and the long shadow of its winter, these great migrations continue, a silent, ceaseless odyssey that binds the living world together and keeps the Arctic's heart beating season after season. Beneath the icy veneer of the Arctic, life has evolved astonishing ways to endure the relentless cold. Every creature here, from the mightiest predator to the tiniest insect, carries secrets of survival forged by millennia of adaptation. The polar bear, cloaked in 2 dense layers of fur and thick blubber, becomes a living fortress against the chill. Its skin, black beneath the fur, absorbs and traps precious warmth from the pale Arctic sun. Even its paws, broad and fur-lined, serve as snowshoes, dispersing weight and gripping the ice. The Arctic fox, in contrast, transforms with the seasons. Its coat shifts from brown in summer to pure white in winter, blending seamlessly with the snow and insulating it from temperatures that plunge far below freezing. In the coldest months it curls into a ball, wrapping its bushy tail around its nose, conserving every ounce of heat. Caribou, too, bear remarkable defences. Their hollow, air-filled hairs trap warmth close to the skin, while their hooves adapt through the seasons, broad and spongy for summer's soft tundra, sharp and hard for winter's icy crust. Beneath the snow, the lemming creates intricate tunnels, insulated from the wind and hidden from predators. Here, in this subnivean world, it forages and thrives, shielded from the deadly cold above. Even in the sea, life has found a way. The bowhead whale's blubber can reach nearly 2 feet thick, storing energy and fending off hypothermia. Fish like the Arctic cod produce anti-freeze proteins, preventing their blood from turning to ice in frigid waters. These adaptations are more than survival tools. They are the keys that unlock the Arctic's harshest secrets. Through fur, fat, behavior, and biology, the animals of the North have mastered the art of endurance, transforming the frozen wilderness into a home. In every whisker, feather, and fin, the story of adaptation continues, proof that life, in all its forms, can flourish against the odds. As the seasons turn and the world warms, the Arctic faces a transformation unlike any before. The once predictable rhythms of ice and snow are unraveling, and with them the delicate balance of life at the top of the world. Sea ice, the very foundation of this frozen realm, melts earlier each spring and forms later each autumn. For the polar bear, this shrinking platform means longer swims between hunting grounds, each journey more perilous than the last. Beneath the thinning ice, the Arctic cod struggles as its cold water refuge recedes. The intricate web of life, from algae clinging to the ice's underside to the seals that depend on both for sustenance, begins to fray. Caribou, too, sense the shift. Warmer winters bring rain that freezes atop the snow, locking away the lichen they need to survive. Starvation becomes an ever-present shadow. Migratory birds, once guided by ancient cues, now arrive to find nesting grounds altered and food supplies uncertain. The Arctic fox, master of adaptation, finds new rivals encroaching as red foxes move north with the changing climate, intensifying the struggle for territory and prey. Even the hidden world beneath the snow feels the impact. Lemmings, whose tunnels once offered warmth and safety, now face sudden thaws and collapses, exposing them to predators and the elements. The Arctic symphony of survival is being rewritten, each note altered by the warming world. Yet, in this time of change, the resilience of Arctic life endures. Some species shift their ranges, others adjust their breeding cycles, and all must navigate a landscape in flux. The story of adaptation continues, shaped now by forces faster and fiercer than ever before. In the silence of the melting ice, the future of the Arctic unfolds, uncertain but not yet unwritten. Beneath the glistening expanse of Arctic ice lies a world few have witnessed, a hidden kingdom where life thrives against all odds. Here, in the twilight realm just below the frozen ceiling, sunlight filters through blue-white layers, casting an otherworldly glow on the bustling community below. Delicate strands of algae cling to the ice's underside, forming the base of an intricate food web. These microscopic plants bloom in spring, fueled by the returning light, and become a feast for tiny zooplankton, copepods and amphipods that swarm in swirling clouds. In turn, these crustaceans sustain larger hunters. Arctic cod, with their shimmering scales and swift movements, dart between shadows, ever wary of lurking predators. Jellyfish drift in the chilly currents, their transparent bells pulsing rhythmically. Hidden among them, the comb jelly flashes iridescent rainbows, a silent signal in the dim water. Closer to the ice, small snails called pteropods flutter by, their wing-like appendages propelling them through the cold. Larger shapes roam these depths as well. The narwhal glides silently, its long spiraled tusk leading the way through narrow leads in the ice. Beluga whales, ghostly and pale, navigate labyrinthine channels, their clicks and whistles echoing in the stillness. Every crevice and cavity in the ice shelters life. Tiny worms, bristle stars, and sea spiders, each playing their part in the Arctic's secret dance. Even in the coldest, darkest months, the web of life endures, interconnected and resilient. Here, beneath the frozen veil, the Arctic reveals a vibrant tapestry of survival, a living testament to the wonders that persist in the planet's most extreme environments. Above and below the ice, a silent drama unfolds, a delicate balance maintained by the Arctic's most formidable predators. In this frozen wilderness, each hunter plays a vital role, shaping the fate of countless creatures within the food web. The polar bear, master of the sea ice, stalks patiently across the white expanse. With each seal it hunts, it keeps populations in check, preventing overgrazing of fish and crustaceans below. The ringed seal, in turn, preys on swarms of Arctic cod and amphipods, its own survival tightly woven into the fate of the icy ecosystem. Beneath the waves, the narwhal and beluga patrol the depths, their keen senses attuned to the movements of fish and squid. By regulating these populations, they ensure that no single species dominates, allowing the web of life to remain diverse and resilient. Even the stealthy Arctic fox, trotting along the snow-covered shore, depends on the intricate dance of predator and prey. It scavenges the remains of hunts and pursues birds and lemmings, recycling nutrients back into the land. From the smallest amphipod to the mighty orca, each predator's presence sends ripples through the food web. When populations shift, the entire ecosystem feels the change. If a top predator wanes, prey species may surge, leading to cascading effects that reshape the Arctic landscape. In the endless cycle of pursuit and escape, the Arctic's predators are not just hunters, they are stewards. Their ancient roles preserve the fragile equilibrium of this icy kingdom, ensuring that life in all its forms continues to flourish beneath the northern lights. As night descends upon the Arctic, a celestial performance begins. Curtains of green, violet and crimson shimmer across the sky, the aurora borealis, or northern lights, casting their glow over the frozen expanse. For countless generations, these lights have danced in silence, illuminating the landscape with an otherworldly radiance. Yet this spectacle is not witnessed by human eyes alone. Throughout the tundra and along the icy coastlines, Arctic animals respond to the changing sky. Caribou pause in their migration, their eyes reflecting the swirling colours above. Some linger as if mesmerized by the undulating patterns, while others quicken their pace, driven by instincts still not fully understood. In the depths of the polar night, seals surface through breathing holes, their whiskers twitching as the aurora's glow flickers across the ice. Above, snowy owls take flight, their wings silently slicing through the illuminated darkness, hunting by the faint light. Even beneath the ice, narwhals and belugas navigate the glowing waters, their movements subtly shifting with the rhythms of the lights overhead. Scientists have only begun to unravel the mysteries of how the aurora affects Arctic wildlife. Some animals may use the changing light as a cue for navigation, while others might sense subtle shifts in the Earth's magnetic field. For many, the northern lights are a signal, an ancient rhythm intertwined with survival, migration, and the cycles of life. In this realm of endless night and fleeting daylight, the aurora borealis is more than a spectacle. It is a silent symphony, shaping the behavior of creatures great and small, weaving its magic into the fabric of Arctic existence. Here, under the northern lights, the wild continues its timeless dance, guided by forces as mysterious as the lights themselves. In the Arctic, time is measured not by hours, but by the sweep of seasons, each bringing profound changes to the land and its inhabitants. The sun's journey shapes every living thing, dictating when to move, when to breed, and when to endure. As spring arrives, the sun climbs higher in the sky, melting vast sheets of ice and awakening the tundra. Rivers surge with meltwater, and the land transforms from white silence to a tapestry of moss, lichen, and fleeting wildflowers. Millions of migratory birds return, filling the air with sound and life. Caribou herds embark on epic journeys, following the greening land to calving grounds where new generations are born. Summer is brief but abundant. Under the midnight sun, animals feast and raise their young. Arctic foxes hunt lemmings across the thawed earth, while polar bears patrol the shrinking ice in search of seals. In these precious weeks, survival depends on seizing every opportunity, for winter's shadow always looms near. Fall brings a swift transformation. The sun dips lower, temperatures plummet, and the landscape prepares for the long freeze. Many animals undertake perilous migrations. Birds fly thousands of miles south, whales navigate icy waters to warmer seas. Others, like the Arctic hare and ptarmigan, don new white coats and brace for the cold, blending into the snow. Winter returns with unrelenting force. Darkness reigns for months, broken only by the faint glow of the moon and stars. Yet even in this harshest season, life endures. Beneath the snow, lemmings create hidden tunnels, while muskoxen huddle against biting winds. The cycle of scarcity and adaptation continues, each creature relying on ancient strategies to survive the silence and cold. In the Arctic, survival is a story written in the rhythm of the seasons. Every heartbeat, migration, and adaptation is tuned to nature's unyielding clock, a relentless, awe-inspiring force that shapes the destiny of all who call this place home. Beneath the sweeping tundra and within the frozen depths of the Arctic ice lies a hidden world, one that is teeming with life, yet invisible to the naked eye. Here, billions of microorganisms, bacteria, archaea, and microscopic fungi thrive in places where few other life forms can endure. In the icy soil, these tiny architects break down ancient plant matter, releasing vital nutrients that feed the first green shoots of spring. In the ocean, phytoplankton, microscopic algae, float just below the surface, harnessing the sun's energy to create the foundation of the Arctic food web. Their brief blooms in summer fuel a cascade of life, nourishing zooplankton, fish, and even the mighty whales that migrate north. Within the ice itself, specialized microbes carve out tiny brine channels, surviving extreme cold and salinity. They recycle nutrients, transform carbon, and even influence the formation and melting of sea ice. Some produce pigments to shield themselves from harsh ultraviolet rays, creating colorful streaks that ripple across the white landscape. These unseen organisms are more than mere survivors. They are the ecosystem's silent engineers. By cycling carbon, nitrogen, and other elements, they regulate the rhythm of life above and below the ice. When the seasons shift, microbial communities respond in kind, adapting to changes in temperature, light, and nutrient flow. Though invisible, their impact is immense. Without Arctic microorganisms, the grand migrations, lush summer blooms, and enduring cycles of life would falter. In this frozen realm, the smallest inhabitants play the mightiest roles, quietly sustaining the Arctic's wondrous, interconnected web. As the Arctic's icy mantle waxes and wanes, its transformation sends ripples across the entire web of life. Each year, the extent and thickness of sea ice shape the fate of countless animals, on land and in the frigid seas. For the ringed seal, sea ice is more than a surface. It is a nursery. Mothers carve out snow dens atop stable ice, sheltering their pups from predators and biting winds. But as the ice thins and melts sooner each spring, these dens collapse, leaving vulnerable pups exposed before they are ready to swim. On the ice's shifting edge, polar bears prowl for seals. Their hunt depends on vast, unbroken platforms to roam and ambush prey. As sea ice retreats, bears are forced to swim longer distances or wait on shrinking floes, burning precious energy and sometimes going hungry. The loss of ice not only tests their endurance, it reshapes their ancient hunting grounds. Beneath the surface, the changes are just as profound. As sunlight penetrates newly open waters, phytoplankton blooms surge earlier and in different places, shifting the timing for zooplankton and the fish that feed on them. Narwhals, belugas and bowhead whales must adapt their migratory routes and feeding patterns to track these moving feasts. Even on land, the story unfolds. Walruses, deprived of resting ice, crowd onto rocky shores in great numbers, sometimes leading to dangerous stampedes. Arctic foxes, whose prey is tied to the ebb and flow of sea ice, find their food webs in flux. Every change in the ice, no matter how small, echoes through the Arctic's interconnected world. In a place where survival is balanced on a knife's edge, the shifting sea ice is both a signal and a force, reshaping the destinies of creatures great and small, season after season. Beyond the shifting ice and the silent struggles, the Arctic's future is being shaped by nature's own resilience and by the quiet work of conservation and discovery. Across the tundra, delicate mosses and lichens form living tapestries, anchoring fragile food webs. As temperatures rise and landscapes transform, some species quietly adapt, forging new alliances in the face of change. In the pale spring light, migratory birds chart new routes, guided by instinct and the subtle cues of a changing world. Caribou herds, once bound to ancient paths, explore unfamiliar ground in search of shelter and sustenance. Beneath the ice, mysterious life forms, tiny ice algae and vibrant copepods, continue to thrive in pockets of cold, their secrets revealed by new scientific tools. Each discovery uncovers a hidden layer of resilience, genes that allow survival in extreme cold, or behaviors that help species synchronize with the unpredictable pulse of the seasons. In the open ocean, whales and fish find new feeding grounds, their journeys mapped by satellite and sonar, revealing a dynamic web of life that endures despite the odds. Nature's ingenuity is at the heart of emerging hope. Protected areas designed to shield critical habitats offer safe havens where rare plants and animals can endure. With every passing season, the Arctic writes new stories of survival and adaptation, its wild heart beating onward, resilient and ever-changing. In every snowflake, every pulse of light beneath the ice, the promise of Arctic biodiversity endures, a testament to life's unyielding will to persist, even at the edge of the world.